All right. Arrive. Take a little take a little peek at your shoulders, whether you're looking at yourself in a device or whether you just want to close your eyes and look at your body from the inside out and just notice where your shoulders are. And just notice lots of things about your shoulders. Are they high? Are they low? Do they feel heavy? Is gravity taking them? And also notice, so that's high and low. That's where they are sort of in the y-axis. I hope I'm getting these axes right. So let's take a look at where they are in the x-axis. So front and back. Are they pulled towards each other a little bit? Or are they pulled towards each other across the back? That's another thing that happens. It's a little bit more rare, but sometimes we want to confront things so much and we want to be so brave and strong that we pull our shoulder blades together across our back too much, and that creates tension across the back. What we want is to slide our shoulder blades. Remember Weeble wobbles? Does anybody remember Weeble wobbles? What you want is your shoulders to kind of Weeble wobble into place. And a really nice way that you can do that is bring your fingertips to your clavicles. Those are your collarbones. And just notice you have your 8 fingertips here, and you can even tap. You can tap your clavicles or the area around your thyroid and thymus. And we do this a lot, but then eventually bring your heavy fingertips to rest on your clavicles and just feel the shape. It's a really beautiful bone. Feel the shape of your clavicle. I mean, I know that's super nerdy, but it is a beautiful bone. It's got a slight curve to it, the way it works, and it's kind of a floating bone, which is really cool. And you can wrap your fingers underneath it a little bit and just feel its shape, and then bring your heavy fingertips to rest on your clavicle. And if you've been in a class with me before, you've probably done this, like the idea of smiling your collarbones. So smile them apart, they move. That's the other thing that's so cool about clavicles. They move a lot. So smile them apart and together. See how my fingers are moving? They come up into a smile, kind of like this. So smile your collarbones apart and then smile them back down again. And you can move them pretty well. Really what you're moving are your elbows, but your shoulders come along with the ride. Your fingertips feel that fluidity of your clavicles. And then take your fingertips off, place your hands back on your legs, and then settle your clavicles. And that will settle your shoulders. Let your eyelids be heavy and let them close. And simultaneously let your breath become heavy. And take a deep exhale. And just remembering that in the work that we do together, it's not about your breath matching mine. Sometimes it feels like it might be, but it's pretty difficult to teach and not say inhale, exhale. I have to give you something to follow, but you don't have to follow me. Find your own breath length, and then take these techniques that I give you and make them work for you, for your own breath length, your own intercostals, your own, the sides of your muscles, the diaphragm, everything is your own, inside your own body, and you need to make these techniques work for you. You can match your breath to mine, and sometimes that works, but sometimes you might get out of breath, or sometimes my breath might not be long enough for you. So it's just an exercise. It's just about practice. So now take that nice, slow, long, slow, and deep inhale and exhale through your nose. Notice the mobility of your clavicles. Notice your collarbones sliding maybe a little more as you inhale and exhale. And now notice when you inhale how they slide open, and when you exhale how they slide back. And if you want to take your fingertips back to your clavicles, you can, but you probably can just feel it without touching. It's up to you. I have mine on my clavicles. And the movement will be smaller because we were exaggerating it before by moving our arms. And if your fingertips are on your collarbones, bring them back to your knees. And now take a deep inhale through your nose and exhale thoroughly through your nose. Now we're going to go downstairs again. Take a deep inhale through your nose and exhale even more thoroughly. Go down the stair. Very slowly going into the basement here. Deep inhale. We're going to take 2 more steps down. So exhale, step down. Even bigger, longer exhale. Last one. We're going to get as empty as possible. And when you get to the bottom of the stairs, I want you to go into the basement or lie down and hold your breath. And when I say lie down, I mean that I want your body to be as soft as you can get it. You're going to hold your breath out. So there'll be some strength in your belly. Soften everything else and hold your breath. Exhale. Hold that for as long as you can. When you need to release, breathe in, hopefully through your nose, gently. We're going to do that again. We're going to go down 3 steps and then hold at the bottom. So exhale. A little faster this time. Inhale. Exhale, a little deeper. You might feel your heartbeat speeding up a bit here as you get air hunger. Last one. So take advantage of those inhales. Take some oxygen in and then exhale fully. Lie down at the foot of the stairs. Hold your breath out. Lie down. Release your shoulders. Release your hips. Release your knees, toes, fingers, everything except your abs and your diaphragm and your intercostals, which are holding your breath out. And just be still. Still and soft. And when you need to release, release gently through your nose. Really good. Inhale gently. One more time. So you're probably really feeling air hunger at this point. So if you choose not to do this, you can just breathe normally for this. Go down the stairs again on the exhale. Exhale fully. Exhale through your nose all the way down one more step. Last one. Go down that last step. Sit down on the floor if that feels more like a normal image. Sit down on the floor, release your shoulders, your pelvis, your knees. I'm holding everywhere. Only hold in your abdomen. Hold for as long as is relatively comfortable. And then release. Inhale through your nose. This is all about control. Flutter your eyes open. Smile a little. Check in with your shoulders, your shoulder blades, and your collarbones. So this is kind of like girdle. It's what we call the shoulder girdle. So the front, the back, and then your shoulder blades. It's kind of like armor that's over top of your shoulders. Let it be very heavy and soft. Just take a few. And just feel gratitude for your breath, your heart, and the fact that you're doing yoga on a regular basis, practicing breath work. And just take a breath to acknowledge to yourself any benefits that you're feeling. Congratulate yourself on your manipura, on your determination, and your stick-to-itiveness. It's what we need in these times. Okay, begin to deepen your breath. And we're going to begin our practice. See if you can keep this deep breath through your practice. So just this gentle inhale, exhale through your nose. And if you want to deepen it, and I will cue you to deepen your breath sometimes, and it's not mandatory. You can breathe however you want. You can just breathe normally if you like, but the benefits are magnified if you deepen your breath, as long as you keep your breath long and slow and deep. Let's start in a different way today, because we often start with Sufi grind and cat cow, and I do love them, but let's start with twists today. Inhale overhead. Twists are such a nice way to feel your breath capacity. And exhale, twist in one direction or another. Take that big exhale, fully twist. Grab your knee, grab the floor behind you, fully twist. Come back to center, inhale your arms overhead. Shoulders go up around your ears. And exhale, and feel your shoulders go down now. Check in with your collarbones. Where are they going? There's a kind of an arc that is described by your bones and your muscles here. Take a deep inhale, exhale over here in your twist. And one of the beautiful things about doing daily yoga is you do feel a little bit sore from one day to the next. And that helps you check in. Inhale your way back to center. We're going to twist the other side. I call these echoes. Twist the other way. So when you feel these little echoes in your body, little places that you worked yesterday, take a good breath cycle here. Turn your head to face the back of the room, just gently. Just let your gaze slide almost passively to the back of the room and then come back to center. Yeah, these little echoes of sore muscles can really be helpful to bring us into body awareness. Right now I'm feeling it in my abs because we did a little bit of ab work yesterday in and around that psoas work. Let's do one more each side. Inhale overhead and make us a little more vigorous now. Lift your chest to the ceiling and then exhale, twist quite vigorously. Really pull with your hands. Inhale, imagine my hand is on your head or pulling up my ponytail here, pulling up towards the ceiling, and then twist on the exhale. You'll feel some popping and cracking in your vertebrae, and come back and one more time the other side. And just enjoy the sensations of this. This is not a movement that we usually do unless we're driving, and we're probably doing a lot less of that. So really use your lung muscles to expand your ribs as you come back to center. And then let's take a little forward fold here, no matter where you are. Just forward fold if you're in easy pose. If you're on the floor, you can flip your knees back and come into child's pose. I'm going to do that here. But if you're on the couch, it's just a regular forward fold. Child's pose is such a great pose for this time of all of our lives. Breathe into your back body. Imagine that my fingers are spread like angel wings across the back of your ribs, and that you're breathing into my fingertips, spreading them apart. And see if you can feel that breath all the way down to your tailbone. Somebody in one of my teacher trainings, I think she's on here right now, Nadia, she was saying, I was watching her practicum, her brilliant practicum yesterday, and she was talking about the path of the breath through your body. And I really like that. See if you can find the path of the breath through your body here. Does it go from your fingertips through your torso and then through your pelvis and then out through your toes? Is that what's happening? Or is it the other way around? Or is it just coming up from the floor and filling your body? Kind of like a mushroom, and then exhaling. One more breath here, being really aware of the path of your breath. And then gently move your way up to neutral position. And let's do something that we did yesterday. I just want to do it to get the little echoes. Bring your hands out to a T and just begin to move your rib cage side to side. So we did a little bit of this yesterday. It's just a variation on Sufi grind. And see what you can feel from the work that we did yesterday. And then we're going to do rib circles here, and your arms can stay out. It's more vigorous and difficult if your arms are out. They can also be in on your shoulders. This is essentially Sufi grind, but more with an emphasis on your rib cage, or your hands can be down on your hips. Just a couple to get things moving, switch directions. And then come forward into cat-cow. So if you're seated on a chair, bring your hands to your knees and take a couple of cat-cows. You guys know what you're doing by now, so just take them in your own way. If you're on the floor, you can come to hands and knees. Even if you're on the chair, you can come on and off the chair as you like, of course, throughout the practice. You don't have to stay on the chair and you don't have to stay on the floor. It's whatever works best for you. And some days you might choose to be entirely on the chair, a little less vigorous. And some days you might choose to be entirely on the floor, a little more vigorous. And there's a rhythm to this. There's a rhythm of rest and work. If you come to my classes, you know that that's a theme that I use a lot, this idea of rest and work. And it's all different now because we're working at home. And that rest work schedule is a little bit screwed up for some of us. Take 2 more breaths. So we have to regulate ourselves. And sometimes that takes practice. And yoga is one of the ways to practice this. Come into cat pose and hold. If you'd like to come into downward facing dog, if you're on the floor, you can, or even dolphin pose if you want to place your forearms on the floor and lift your hips towards the ceiling. Then just take a breath. Take a few inhales and exhales here. Just holding in cat, exploring all those muscles of your back body. And then if you're on the floor, pull forward into pigeon. We're gonna go straight into pigeon here, just because we're gonna get straight into the hips. We're gonna do pigeon first, and then we're gonna do the sun salutes, and then we're gonna do pigeon again, just to really get into the hips. So if you're on the floor, you're in pigeon pose, and you can stay, well, you can do whatever you want. You can keep your torso up. Here on the couch, I'm rotating, I'm kind of doing Sufi grind with my right foot over my left knee. So explore, if you're on the floor, explore into your hips as you move around. And I'm doing these tiny little Sufi grinds here, just tiny little rotations, both directions. And I want the sensation in your hips. So not necessarily in your ribs, but in your hips, and do whatever you have to do to get that sensation in your hips. I'm holding on to my leg. Last breath. If you're on the floor, you can push back into downward facing dog or dolphin pose. If you're on the chair, just switch legs. If you're on the floor, switch legs as well. And just begin to wiggle around. Close your eyes if you can, and bring your attention inside your hip joint. In this case, I have my left leg up, so my attention is really in my left hip joint. I'm really getting to know my own body here every day. Every day is a new day. Every day your body feels a little bit different. Some days it feels better, and some days you're on an arc of feeling better. Maybe you're exercising more or eating better or got a better sleep or something. But every day you feel a little different. Switch directions. And then release, push back to downward facing dog if you're practicing on the floor. Or dolphin pose or plank pose, whatever you like. Take a breath in neutral. We'll move smoothly into our sun salutes. We're so good at these sun salutes now. I feel like I barely need to talk through them. Come to standing if you're on the floor. Step forward and come up. Stand in Tadasana, mountain pose. And get ready to take some nice deep breaths. We're going to breathe through this vinyasa. See if you can breathe with me. If you can't, let it go and join in with the breath later. Inhale overhead. My breaths are long. My movements are quite slow. I'm extending my legs for my first forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, long spine. Use your belly, use your back. And enjoy this river or the swan dive forward. And then use your belly. Enjoy this reverse swan dive up. Step back if you're on the floor. Pull your right knee in. Sink down into your lunge or sink your knee into your forehead. Big inhale. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, downward facing dog if you're standing, neutral if you're sitting. Yeah, you might want to move that all together, Care. Inhale, ripple forward, upward facing dog. And Lara and I were talking about this. You might just want to take cobra here for the first one. And then exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale your left knee in or step back with your right foot. And then deeply into your lunge and deeply into your curl. And here's the important part. Drop into your lunge if you're on the floor, but if you're seated, really lift the crown of your head. And then we're going to forward fold. Step forward into forward fold if you're on the floor. Inhale, long spine. Move slowly to feel more. Getting to know our bodies at the same time. Getting to know our bodies and our breath. And I'm particularly proud of our musicians here who are doing this every day. I really hope when you go back to performing that you'll have some difference in lung capacity. I mean, you may be feeling it already. Inhale overhead. Peggy says she is feeling it in the singing. Exhale, fold. So does Bryce say the same thing. Gotta get more of those singers on here. Inhale, a half lift. And this is all breath work. All of yoga is breath work. Left foot back or left knee in. Exhale, sink into your lunge. Sink your forehead towards your knee. Pull, pull, pull. Deep inhale, long spine. Sink into your lunge a little more. And then exhale, perfect. Downward facing dog. Ripple forward, upward facing dog or cow pose. And exhale, downward facing dog or cat pose. And then from here, right knee comes in, left foot comes forward. Drop into your lunge, drop into your snail. Or maybe it's like a fern. Inhale, drop your shoulders, lift your spine, lift the crown of your head. And forward fold. Here we go. Big, long movement. Enjoy it. Inhale, ripple your spine up. Solid belly. Exhale, fold. Strengthen up your belly and inhale up. And exhale, neutral. That was one sun salute. We're going to do 3 today. We're going to go push out the boat and do 3 full sun salutes. So that's 1. Let's do the other 2 a little faster. Inhale, open. Exhale, big swan dive. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold. Right knee in or back. Exhale, fold. I mean drop. I mean curl. Inhale, long spine, drop down. Exhale, downward facing dog. Kara's doing a beautiful job with this. Inhale, ripple your way forward. Exhale, push your way back, downward facing dog. Left knee comes in. And exhale, curl. And open, long spine, drop your shoulders. And exhale, forward fold. Step forward if you're on the ground. Beautiful. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Get into this rhythm of your breath. Exhale, neutral. We're half finished, sun salutes. Other side. Inhale, overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, left leg back or in. Exhale, curl up. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, neutral or downward facing dog. Inhale, ripple through, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog or cat pose. Inhale, left foot forward or right knee in. And exhale, curl up or drop down. Inhale, this is your chance to really lengthen your spine here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Beautiful. If I were there, I'd be tapping your low back muscles for that part. Imagine me tapping now all the way up your spine. Exhale, neutral. Let's slide right into our last sun salute, even faster because we're warmed up. Inhale, overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. I have my knees bent for this one. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right knee back or in. And exhale, squish down or drop down. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, downward facing dog or neutral. Inhale, all the way through. Upward facing dog, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, right foot forward or left knee in, long spine. Squish your leg in. Lengthen the crown of your head, and now exhale, drop into your lunge or curl your forehead to your knee. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Remember my hands on your low back getting so strong. Exhale, fold. Inhale, scoop up. Imagine you're scooping through molasses, strong belly, strong back, neutral spine. Tadasana, mountain pose. Beautiful. That's your rest. Here's your work. Inhale, overhead. Exhale, swan dive through molasses, resistance. Move slow, feel more. Inhale, halfway lift, strong back. Exhale, fold. Beautiful, Kara. Inhale, left leg back, left knee in. Exhale, fold. Curl up. Inhale, big long spine. Exhale, neutral. Push back, downward facing dog. Inhale, pull your chest forward. Lengthen your spine. Tilt your chin up a little to the ceiling. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot comes forward to lunge, right foot comes in, long spine. And then exhale, curl up like a snail or a fern or a flower. Inhale, drop your shoulders, lift your spine. Last one. This is our third sun salute, you guys. Exhale, forward fold. Big inhale, strong low back. Exhale, dive. Beautiful breath. I can even hear some people are unmuted. I can hear some breath. Inhale up. Exhale, neutral. Rest for a couple of breaths while I mute you. Bring your breath back to neutral. All the way back to neutral. Let your heart slow. So good. 3 sun salutes, you guys. Lots of progress. That's amazing. Let's take our hands on our hips now. If you're seated, you might want to stand up for this. You absolutely don't want to stand up, or you can't stand up. Dance with your arms. We're going to dance with our hips here. So we're just going to go side to side, or side to side, or round and round. This is where your inner burlesque dancer comes out. I'm wearing the right pants for this today. Side to side, bend one knee and then the other. Take any variation. Close your eyes. No one can see you. You're on Zoom. It's so much in that way better than a regular yoga class. No one can see you. If you're on the couch, you might be able to do this. You dance with your arms, dance with your hips. Remember yesterday we were pushing the knees forward and back? I can still feel that. You can do that on your chair. Few more breaths here. And then this you can definitely do sitting down. If you're standing up, tuck your pelvis and then untuck. So it's a standing cat-cow. And here you've got your hands on your hips and you're inhaling. And your exhale, tuck your pelvis. 2 more, inhale. Open, exhale, tuck. A little bend in your knees. Here we go, last one. Exhale, tuck. If you're standing up, dive your way down, make your way down to the floor. We're going to do a little bit of hip work on the floor. So we're going to come into campfire pose. So if you're seated, you can do exactly what we just did, or if you have the capacity and the couch, you can come back on the couch and fold one leg under. This is campfire pose. Campfire pose looks a lot like this, which is seated pigeon. So whichever you'd like to do, we're just going to do some variations of what we just did, and we're going to do a forward fold. So first of all, wiggle your upper knee a bit. So you're going to feel some stuff happening in your right hip, around your right hip. And then push it down as deep as you can go without any sensation. So I'm not getting any sensation around my knee or anything like that. I'm just pushing a little bit. You can even, we did this yesterday, push a little bit on your inner thigh just to push it down. And then we're going to take a forward fold here. Take your forward fold, deepen your breath. Three breath cycles here. Big, beautiful LSD breath cycles. I have straightened my leg a little bit, and that's kind of intense. So if it gets intense, you can bend your standing leg a little bit. Keep your standing foot really solid on the floor if you do that. And then release, just come up into neutral. And then no matter if you're on the floor or on your chair or anything, grab your right knee and rotate it around as much as you can. If you're on the floor, it's a little bit harder. You can also come back onto your back. We've done this before. So if you're on your back, you're rotating like this. If you're on the chair, you're just making big circles. And then open your feet into goddess. If you're on the floor, just open your feet into wide angle forward fold. So here you're in goddess, extend your legs just a bit. My heels are on the floor and we're coming into forward fold. But we're going to take some movement side to side. So move your torso from one leg to the other gently. And yeah, Kara's going like this. So if you're on the floor, you can take your top hand. You can do this if you're seated too. It's just not quite as effective, but you can definitely do this if you're seated. And then come to the center and take your deepest pose. Find your deepest way down here and hold. So this is working our adductors. The little muscles are stretching our adductors. The little muscles are our inner thighs. So today we're working all around the psoas, not the actual psoas as much. Last breath. Make it big and fluid in and out through your nose. Gently work your way up. And then we're going to take our hip circles on the left side. So your left leg makes big circles one way and then the other. And then coming into supine pigeon or campfire pose. You take a couple of little butterflies here with your left knee. And then find your way into your fold. And if that involves extending your front foot, if you're seated, you can a little bit. And then deepen and take 3 big breath cycles. And remember that it's the breath that deepens this pose. You can do this, but then it's just stretching, which is great. You can just stretch, but with yoga, it's integrating the breath and the body. And that's what gives you that special sensation at the end. That special relaxed sensation. That's what lowers your blood pressure at the end. That's what does the magic. Breath and movement together. Last breath. And when you think about it, it's only 45 minutes of your day. Come up into neutral now. It's only 45 minutes of your day where you're combining breath and movement. And yet even that makes such a huge difference. Find neutral. Take an inhale and an exhale. One more. Put your legs wide again. One last time, one last forward fold. You can be in goddess here or wide-legged forward fold. And take any variation you like here. I'm going to take the dipping my shoulders variation. If you're on the floor, you can hold your toes, you can hold your legs, you can hold your ankles. You can stand in goddess, really nice. You can stand and do what I'm doing in goddess, dipping one shoulder and then the other. And then gently move your way up. Come back to the floor if you're standing. We're going to take one last hip stretch. So it's a hip stretch and a twist. Bring your knees over to the left side. Remember, if you're on the floor, you're in mermaid pose. So you're like this. If you're on the couch, bring your knees all the way to the left. Inhale your arms overhead. And exhale, twist right. So if you're seated, you can try both ways and see if you get a hip twist either way. So try both directions. We're going to do both directions on the couch as well. If you can get sensation in your right hip. If you can't, you might want to bring your right leg over top and then push. So my right leg is over top of my left and I'm really pushing with my elbow. And now I'm getting some sensation here in the outside of my right hip. Take one more deep breath. If you're in mermaid pose, you've got a back hip here that's kind of can be up and off the ground or down. You can breathe it up and down a little bit, just explore that back hip. And then release, swirl your legs around if you're in mermaid. If you're on the couch, bring your knees over to the right side. And now you know you might need to cross. Inhale your arms overhead. Twist left. And see how I'm pushing on my legs here? That's how I get sensation here. Otherwise, I don't have much sensation in my left hip, just because I've been doing this a while. But you can almost always get it by pushing with your arm and then twisting left. Take a few breaths. And then release. Come back to center. And fold your legs. And let's take a forward fold. Last posture. Just find your way into your forward fold. Whatever feels good for you. Find your depth here. So find grabbing onto your ankles or your shins or your big toes. And now use your arm muscles and pull your torso towards your upper legs. Notice a big line of tugging along your back, and then dip your chin a little and see if you can increase a sense of that tugging. And then imagine my hands on your rib cage again from behind, and imagine inhaling my hands apart and exhaling my hands together. Last breath cycle here. And release, soften. Energize your belly. Push in with your heels, back of your legs, come back up to seated. If you're on the floor, you can make your way back to Shavasana. If you're in the chair, push your way back so that you're in relaxation pose. Bring your hands to your knees. You can turn your hands so your palms face the ceiling. Feel the full footprint of your feet on the floor. Feel your shins puddling on the floor or the back of the chair. And soften. So remember that sensation of warm water being poured over you. And then once you are soft, connect with your breath. And we're going to go down the stairs again, down 3 stairs. The breath can be a little softer this time though. On the exhale, just soften everything. Soft breath, soft exhale. Soft inhale. Soft exhale, but go down a stair. Go down a stair in body softness and breath. Last step. Just gently walk down that step. And then keep the softness in your body. Softness in your forehead. Softness in your jaw. Notice the barrier between you and the world, and it just softens just a tiny bit. And now begin to come back into you. Deepen your breath a little. Become aware of the smells and sounds of the room around you. And notice the movement of your clavicles, of your collarbones as they smile open and closed. One thing moves, everything moves. As you breathe, everything moves in your body. It's called auxeticity. It's a characteristic of things that are alive, organisms. And begin to flutter or sparkle your eyes open. At the same time, sparkle your cheekbones up. Sparkle your fingertips alive and your toe tips alive. Deepen your breath. Open your eyes wide, lift your eyebrows. Have a kind of surprised look on your face. If you're on the floor, of course, I never say this, but I assume most of you know, come up very slowly. If you're seated, it's a different story. And I do very short relaxations for these because I know most people have to continue on with work. We don't want to get very tired here. We want to just be energized. Thank you so much for joining me today. So lovely. And I really appreciate, warms my heart so much that people are prioritizing their health in this time. Really is the best gift of all. I'm going to unmute you to say goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki.
You're welcome. You're very welcome. Hi, Sarah.
Thank you, Nikki.
You're very welcome. Have a great weekend.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful.
You're very welcome. I'm so glad.
Thanks,
Okay,
Nikki.
So glad.
we don't have the class tomorrow.
Yes, I am here every day.
Every day.
So, yeah,
Good,
definitely.
good.
I still do this over the weekend, but take the weekend off if you want. Hey,
Oh, no.
Yeah, take the weekend off if you want. Whatever.
You
Some
want
people
to
have
see
said. Some people have said that they really like the fact that it's
Yes.
7 days a week actually makes
Of
them
course.
feel like there isn't a weekend. So if you need to take the weekend off, take the weekend off so that you know there's a weekend. But yeah, I'm gonna be here.
No, we don't want
Do it because it's the weekend.
Exactly, do it because it's the weekend, or just do it on the weekend, whatever you want.
Nikki,
But yes.
when you say right, so when you is it our left side we have to do?
It's completely up to you. I don't mirror in these things because I find
okay.
mirroring very difficult. And this is already difficult, but it's completely up to you. You can do your right or your, I think it's more difficult for you personally as a student. I find it more difficult to actually do the other side because then you're kind of mirroring, which is really hard. Like when I teach yoga teachers to teach and we teach mirroring, it's a really hard thing. So yeah, so it's completely up to you. But one of these days I'll try mirroring and you can see how you like it. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for asking. You're
God
very
bless
welcome.
you. Yes.
Thanks,
You're
Nick.
very welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. You're welcome.
Bye.
See you later. Bye, Peggy.
Love
Bye,
the
Bryce.
headphones.
Lara, what kind of oil do you have?
What kind of what?
Oil does Lara have?
Oh yeah, I have my On Guard right now.
Ah,
On guard, yes.
awesome.
Yes, on guard is important.
On
We're
Guard.
like bathing in on guard over here.
Oh,
We're
you
putting
can't-
on guard all over our hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Hi,
oh, Peggy,
Peggy.
what do you got?
What's that?
Papaiba or on guard?
Papaiba.
Yeah.
Papaiba. Papaiba.
Oh yeah, that's what I have. Yes.
Totally.
You find it makes your skin tingle?
Oh, totally. If I put it here before bed or before I meditate, and it gets rid of my like line. It kind of has like almost a numbing. Yeah, it's like almost a numbing or a relaxing effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It's my favorite oil.
I gotta look for that.
Mom's putting the Papaiba on right now. See?
Yeah,
There you
yeah,
go.
bring it.
Put it on your vagus nerve. Yeah.
Yay.
All right. Take care of your vagus nerve until we
Thanks,
meet again.
We need
All right.
it.
Bye.
Hi, Peggy. Bye, Peggy. I love you.
Love you
I
too.
know.